flow today, but instead of just focusing on our shoulders, I wanted to also focus on our hamstrings. So a lot of us are sitting at our desks and kind of get stuck in this position, which is compressing our hips, and we'll try to open those up, but also getting our hamstrings a little tight from not extending out. So we'll do some stretches and some different flows today that are going to help with our hamstrings. Again, this is beginner friendly. So if you are new to yoga or you're feeling just fatigued like we all are, hopefully this class will be a good thing for you. Instead of seating or sitting up here, I'm going to go ahead and start our practice laying down. So find your Shavasana. So I'm laying down here, my heels are together, my toes are out, my palms are facing up. Breathing in and out, and just find your breath. So you can close your eyes if that feels comfortable for you. And breathe here. Noticing how the breath travels into the body. And notice how the breath travels out of the body. The allergies here in Dallas are pretty high, so don't judge your breath too much. You might not be able to breathe in as deeply as you would like to. Let's do maybe 2 more breaths here. Last breath in and out. Reach your arms overhead here like you're stretching when you wake up in the morning. Take your feet over to the right side of the mat, and your arms are going to go over to the right side of the mat. So we're making a little crescent moon shape here, kind of like a little banana. And I'm looking to stretch the left side of my body. So I'm looking to stretch all along my rib cage, maybe my arms and my shoulders. Maybe I point my toes or flex them, going back and forth. Finding that nice stretch here, lateral stretch of the body. And then we'll come back to center and go to the other side, left feet go over to the left, arms go over to the left here, making that crescent shape on this side. Noticing how this might be a little bit different on this side than it does on the other, not judging that though, we're just noticing the difference here. Feeling that nice long stretch on the rib cage. All right, let's come back to center. Find your knees bent and your feet are on the mat. You can touch your heels to make sure that your feet are in line with your hips. Take your hands by the side of the body, squeeze your glutes, and lift your hips here. Trying to not lift up so much that we're getting into the knees, but find this opening here. Now, reciprocal inhibition means that when one side of the body gets nice and strong, the other side can open up. So let's think about squeezing our glutes and squeezing in between our shoulder blades to open up a little bit more here. Breathe in and out. Take another breath in. And out, maybe you lift just a tiny bit higher here. And then bring your hips back down to the mat. Go ahead and bring your knees into your body. Give yourself a big old hug here. You can rock back and forth if that feels good. Now let's get a little bit into our hamstrings. My knees are bent. My right foot's going to come on the outside of my left leg. So I'm making a little figure 4 shape here. I'm going to lift my left leg up. As I do that, I'm feeling a compression on my right hip. Feeling the outside of my right leg stretching. Options to take your hands and interlace them behind your left leg. That might not be in your practice here. You can always stretch your leg up too to really get into that left hamstring. Or you can take your hands behind the legs and just pull a little bit closer here. So I'm feeling this on the outside of my right leg. That's my IT band, but it's also connected to my hamstring here and getting some compression on that hip. So I'm going to keep the same shape here, but I'll take my left foot down and bring everything over to the left. So the outside of my left leg is touching, the bottom of my right foot is touching here. It's okay if you can't get all the way here. If it's hard to find this, maybe you put a little block underneath your foot or a book here. And then just pull your leg forward and push it back. Kind of find that sweet spot for you. We're all going to feel this a little bit differently. Now in this position, I want to get into my abs just a little bit. So I'm going to take my hands behind my head, trying to not crunch too much into the neck. Keep my elbows wide. As I do some crunches here, we're just going to do 8. 1 and down. 2 and down. 3 and down. 4 and down. Let's do 5 and 6, 7 and 8. Wonderful. Bring your hands by the side of the body. Bring your legs back to center. Let's do a little shake of the legs up here. And then we'll do the other side. Right leg is bent, left foot comes out. And then I'll bring my legs a little closer to my body. You can take your hands behind you. If you did on the other side, you can straighten the right leg. If you did on the other side, or taking the hands behind the legs. No need to push any of this here. Feel the outside of your left leg. That's probably kind of tight from sitting at your desk. Now take your foot down. I'm going to scoot over on my mat just a little bit as I bring everything over to the side. This time, the outside of my right leg is touching. The bottom of my left foot is touching here. I'll take my hands behind my head. Let's find 8 more crunches here. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Lift and lower. Let's do 4 and 3. Last 2. Last 1. Stay here and move that leg around, just like we did on the other side. Squeeze your belly as you come back to center. Shake that out a little bit. Maybe we're reaching our arms and our legs up overhead, shaking everything here. And then stop. Maybe you're feeling the blood going down the body a little bit here. Let's do that again. Shake. And stop. I feel the energy flow in my body with that. And then I'm going to come up here, coming to an all fours position. So we're getting ready to find our cat-cow shape. Hands are underneath your shoulders. Knees are underneath your hips. Inhale, drop the belly, pull the shoulders back, look up. Exhale, round. Spreading the fingers out nice and wide. Inhale, drop the belly, pull the shoulders back. Exhale, round. Now you can continue with that. If there's another thing that you need to do, maybe moving your hips back and forth. You can also do hip circles here, maybe going all the way back to the feet, or just staying at the top, trying to find the movement that your body needs. If we went one way, making sure we go the other way, trying to do the same thing on both sides. And then when you're ready, walk your hands forward just a little bit here. We'll tuck our toes, squeeze your belly as you lift your knees and find your downward facing dog. Walking the dog here just means you're bending the knees back and forth, and we're also making sure that we're spreading our fingers out nice and wide so we're not crunching into our wrists. Continue to breathe. Walk your hands back to your feet here. So at the back of the mat, just finding a nice forward fold. Lots of different options. Of course, knees can always be bent if that's where you are because those hamstrings are tight. For any of my gentlemen friends that are watching, usually your hamstrings are a little tighter than ladies. Forward fold and try to allow the head to relax. So grab opposite elbows if that feels good. Maybe our fingers go underneath our toes. You don't have to do that. You can also grab the inside of the big toes with your 2-piece fingers, or just let your arms relax here. Continue to breathe. So again, reciprocal inhibition, when one side of the body gets strong, the other side can open up. So maybe we think about squeezing our quads, the tops of the legs. As we do that, we might open up the back of the legs just a little bit more. Maybe we lift our hips a little higher. gently round up one vertebra at a time, head coming up last here. Inhale, arms overhead, palms touch. You can take a little back bend if that feels good. We'll take our hands down to our heart. Breathe in. Maybe our mantra today is a loving kindness, compassion towards ourselves, right? May I be happy. May I be well. May I be able to face my day. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be able to face my day. Trying to give ourselves a little more compassion than maybe we typically do right now as we're just stuck at home, or not stuck at home, we're at home trying to navigate the way the world is right now. Breathing in, breathing out. I am trying to not say stuck at home, even though I did just say it in this video, but changing my mindset to something that's a growth mindset. What can I learn? What can I discover? Maybe it's just learning how to be. A lot of anxiety and depression feelings can come up with that sometimes. So making sure we breathe and acknowledge that maybe today is just where we are. Your feelings are valid. All right, let's go ahead and round down nice and slow here. So I'm coming back into that forward fold, going a little bit deeper this time, or staying exactly where you are. If I want to go deeper, maybe bend the legs and take the hands behind you. See if you can pull yourself a little bit closer to your legs. Again, I'm pretty open in my hamstrings, so this might look very different than what you're doing. Release down. Let's walk our hands back forward into our downward facing dog again, getting into those hamstrings as much as we can, but we're also going to get into our quadriceps. The muscles on the front. I'm going to lift my right leg up, step my right foot in between my hands. If you need a little help getting there, you can scooch your leg forward. Instead of staying on the ball of the foot this time, we're actually going to turn that back foot at a 45-degree angle. And then begin to round up. We're moving into what's called Warrior One. So in Warrior One, I'm trying to push my left hip forward-ish. You'll hear a lot of people say that hips need to be square forward, but some of our hips do not do that, and that's how the bone and the socket are connected. It's not so much about flexibility. What you can do is try to push on the outside of this back leg, this left foot here, as you push into the right leg and reach your arms overhead, saying, I am strong. Maybe fingers are spiraling towards each other, those pinky fingers, and you're pulling your shoulders back. See if you can go just a little bit deeper into this front leg. And we're opening up into Warrior Two. As we open up into Warrior Two, we might need to change our stance a little bit so that our feet go a little bit wider. I'm looking to get this thigh parallel-ish to the mat. And this time, my hips are going to go forward. You can look over that front leg if that feels good. So we're opening up our hips. Again, squeeze the back of the body, squeeze your glutes so that your hips open up here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Straighten your right leg. It's probably going to feel really good right now. Drop your left arm. Reach your right arm up. So my shoulders and my hips are staying facing the side here. Maybe I'm going to push my hip forward a little bit more. As we do that, notice I'm able to get a little bit higher, and I feel it in my left hip. Breathe in. Breathe out. Let's do one more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Take your arms back parallel to the mat. Bend into this right leg again, but now I'm going to really twist my left hip in. As I twist my left hip in, I'm able to bend into my right leg a little bit more. As I do that, I want to reach forward without moving the upper body. Right arm comes down, left arm comes up. We're in a bent knee triangle. If your shoulders are tight, you can always go around your joint here and get into that a little bit more. Now my right leg is really feeling this right now. I'm gonna breathe. If it's too much, you can always take this right arm down too to give yourself just a little support. So I've got a straight line-ish from my head to my left foot here. The triangle is from my left toe to my left hand to my right toe here. But you'll also notice there's a little baby triangle on the right side of my body. Hold 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's come back up. We're going to straighten that front leg for just a moment. And then take your heels in, toes out. Moving into what's called a goddess pose. Getting into our hips a little bit. Bending the knees. Looking to get our thighs parallel-ish to the floor. Mine probably are not going to go there today. I'll take my arms out. My palms are facing up. Really open your heart here. So we'll pull the shoulders down. Maybe look up to the sky. If you're looking at a window, maybe you have a beautiful sky that you can look at and receive that sunshine, that positive energy here. I'm going to sit just a little deeper. 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Straighten the legs. Whew, feel that release here. Toes in, heels out. So we're changing the direction of the feet. And just forward fold. Hands come down to the mat. You can take your hands on either side of the feet if that feels good. Maybe you just need to hang here. Remember that reciprocal inhibition. We're going to squeeze the front of the legs to get into our quads a little bit. Or get into our hamstrings, excuse me. Shifting the weight into the toes as well. So our toes may actually turn white. That's how much we're shifting our weight here. Hands are underneath the shoulders. We're going to change that direction just like we did last time. Find our warrior 1 facing the back of our mat. So my right toes are at a 45-degree angle. My left toes are forward, and then I'll reach my arms up. Now remember, we're working this right hip forward. It's okay if it's not there today, tomorrow, or the next day, but I'm pushing on the outside of my right foot. Reaching the left, or both arms up here. Maybe pinkies are going towards each other. Breathe here. Strong legs, strong foundation, spreading the toes out of our left toes. See if we can go just a little deeper here. You got it. Continue to breathe. Open up. Let's find that warrior 2 again. So this time my left knee is bent. My hips are facing the side. My arms are out and shoulders are also facing the side. If you're getting warm, that's okay. That means you're working. Squeeze the glutes a little bit more here so that we open up those hips. Another thing to notice is your left knee rotating in. If it is, really try to use the outside of the left leg here to keep your knee on top of your ankle just to protect that knee joint. Hold here. Straighten the front leg. Maybe your stance needs to be just a tiny bit shorter. Right arm down, left arm up. I'm going to push that hip forward here. That feels good for me, so I really get into my right hip. Nice stretch on the left side of the body here too. Making sure we're not holding that breath. And then the arms come back parallel to the floor, then into the right leg. And I'm really going to twist that hip in. So right hip's coming in, then the left leg. And then we'll move into our bent knee triangle. Reach towards the back of the mat. The left arm comes down, right arm comes up, getting around that shoulder joint if that feels good for you. Trying to get this side parallel-ish to the floor. And this is a really tough shape for all of us. So if you're struggling here, it's okay. Breathe into it. Right shoulder's pulling back. I've got my arms at 12 o'clock and 6 o'clock here as I bend a little bit deeper. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Come out of that. Straighten the leg. Maybe we'll walk back just a little bit. I always tend to be on the side of my mat when I do that for some reason. Heels in, toes out. Let's sit down in this nice goddess pose. So goddess pose is a very feminine pose because we're opening up our hips and our heart, receiving what the world can give us. I know a lot of us are giving to everybody else right now, so maybe right now this is you giving back to yourself by receiving some positive energy here. Let's hold 5, 4, sit deeper, 3, 2, sit deeper, 1, release. Instead of going forward, I'd love for us to just find a starfish here. Arms are up, it's kind of like what you would look like in a jumping jack with your arms and legs out. Squeeze the back of the body here. Beautiful, everyone. Let's come back to the front. I'm just going to step this left foot up to the top of the mat if it didn't go forward like mine did. Arms overhead. Take your hands back to your heart. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be ready to face my day. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be ready to face my day. Forward fold. Getting into those hamstrings just a little bit more here. Again, options stay here. If you want to go deeper, you can always take the hands behind you. It's maybe a little bit too intense for some of us, and that's okay. Take your hands down to the mat. We're just going to come back into our all fours position here. Find those cat-cow shapes. So I encourage you to just kind of move. That's funny, I said move while I was doing cow. Move at your own pace here. What does your body need? Let's come into a child's pose. Much needed here. Now my knees are out, but my toes are together. Again, that's comfortable for me because I like to have my belly come in between my legs. If you want to have your body on top of your knees, just bring your knees together. Arms can reach forward. Let's find 4 nice breaths here. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. 2 more. Breathe in. Breathe out. Last one. Breathe in. Breathe out. Wonderful. Round up 1 vertebra at a time. Head coming up last to protect our neck. We'll take our feet forward and our head towards the back of the mat. Maybe find some windshield wipers here, moving the knees back and forth if that feels good for you. Again, bring the knees into your body, give yourself a big hug. If you like to do happy baby, that would be a nice shape to make here. Knees come towards your shoulders. You can grab the outsides of the feet, you can grab the insides of the big toes, your feet can come together, your legs can be straight. That's another hamstring stretch here. The closer the heels come to your glutes in your happy baby, the more you get a little massage on the lower back, and the more they come up to the shoulders, your toes towards your shoulders, the more you get into your upper back. Take your feet down to the mat. Let's take our right leg into the body and just do a little half wind relieving here. That just means I'm taking my hands on top of my shin of my right foot. I'm going to do some ankle rolls. If it feels okay, you can straighten the left leg out. That might be too intense though. So just find what shape works for you here. If that left leg is bent though, I'm going to ask you to straighten it. We'll take our left hand on our right knee and pull the knee across the body here. You might get a little snap, crackle, pop. Trying to have the knee on the floor if you can. So my right shoulder is off of the mat here, and that's okay. If I have room, I would reach my right arm over that's too much on the shoulder, you can always do a cactus arm here. Find your twist. If we're sitting at that desk a lot, we might really feel this twist here too. Never go into a place of pain. Just finding a nice stretch. Breathe in. Breathe out. One more, breathe in. Breathe out. I'm gonna come back to center. Squeeze that left leg into the body again. Say thank you, hips, for helping me get through this practice today. And then switch it out to the other side. Left knee is coming in. Right leg is straight. If you'd like here, you can keep it bent. I'll cue when we need to straighten it out. Do those ankle rolls here too. We're feeling tight all across the body because we're staying in the same seated shape at our desk. And our bodies are also getting fatigued. It takes so much more work to focus on somebody through a computer, hearing them and seeing them and trying to keep their attention. And so you are probably storing some stress in your body just from holding that intention. If you're a counselor or a social worker or a helper, you're probably also holding a lot of emotions here too. So that's going to manifest in your body. Now, if your right leg is bent, go ahead and straighten it out, and then bring the knee across, and left arm's going to reach up and over this time. You can always do those cactus arms too, if that is better for you. Maybe imagining the stress or the emotions that you're holding inside of your body here, wringing out of your spine, all along the spine here, just like a wet washcloth. So the image of squeezing it out and letting it go. Remembering that we're doing the best we can right now with what we have, right? We're all just trying to navigate what's going on around us. Making sure we breathe through the day, maybe find little body breaks in between meetings or sessions so that we can help our bodies feel restored. Let's come back to center. Squeeze that knee in again and say thank you. And then if you have any other shapes that you'd like to do here, you can do that, or you can come into your final Shavasana here with your heels in and your toes out, your palms are facing up. You can close your eyes if you feel safe doing that. If not, just try to have a nice soft eye gaze. As you find that Shavasana, scan the body. So noticing if we had any, does their body feel any different? I know that my quads definitely feel it from those warriors today and the goddess shapes that we did. But I do notice that the backs of my legs feel a little bit more open too. Maybe you can imagine just your heart center, the center of the heart, the center of the chest where the heart is. Give a little attention to that part of the body and just say, I'm doing enough. I'm doing enough. I am important. It's important that I take care of myself and not just others. I am doing enough. If you're still feeling like you have some things inside your body that you need to get out, I encourage you maybe to sigh it out here. With an inhale, nice and deep. Exhale. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Beautiful, my friends. When you feel ready, maybe wiggle the toes and the hands. If you want to stay in your Shavasana shape longer, you can always pause this video. When that feels okay, we'll roll over onto one side, just noticing how the body connects with your mat or the floor on this side. Where is your body touching the floor? when your body is ready, use your top arm to help you come back up into a seated position. Maybe crisscross applesauce here for some of my friends that work with kids. Pulling the shoulders back, opening up the heart. Thanking your body for the shapes that you made today. If you're feeling fatigued in your body, that is okay. You're holding space, holding energy, holding focus for other people and for yourself as we're trying to communicate in new ways. I know for me, I feel it a lot in my legs and my quads at the end of the day, so knowing that maybe that is what I need to have my intention to focus on, of just moving a little bit more. Take the hands by the side of the body, palms facing up. You can keep your eyes closed if that feels good for you, but inhale, arms overhead, palms touch. Exhale, bring your hands down to your heart. Let's do 3 more. Inhale. Exhale. 2 more, friends. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Keep your hands at your heart. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be ready to face my day. May I be happy. May I be well. May I be ready to face my day. The light in me honors the strength, the beauty, and the love in you. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me. Again, we are donation-based classes right now, so if you feel in your heart to share with us or just acknowledge this practice, we have a Venmo account, Mighty Oaks DFW. It'll also be in the comments, and we'd love for you to subscribe to our channel just so you can get some more of our information. It's not just yoga classes like this. We also do kids yoga. We have boot camp. We do all sorts of different things. So thank you all so much for joining.